the city commissioner's office, and I am going right up in here with my sign. Go on in here.
Okay, but what's that, sir?
I say I'm going to go ahead and go on in here.
Actually, at this point, I'm going to hold you up just for a few minutes. I want to find out what the situation is, Sergeant. I'd really appreciate you to come over here.
Whatever you want, but I want to go inside this building right here, and you're blocking me right now from it.
I have a sergeant coming over.
Well, the sergeant could talk to me inside of here.
We're going to let you in. But in the meantime...
So you're trying to tell me right now, am I detained?
You're being prevented from coming in a public building. How does that sound? Okay, at this point, I'm going to hold off on letting you in until my sergeant gets here. Fair enough?
That's really not fair. I feel like my rights are being violated right now.
Right here, activities or behaviors which present unreasonable risk of injury or harm to others, including visitors.
Where is it?
He's being disruptive right now. He's violating the facility rules just right here, and he's on the facility. So I would, give somebody a call and let's put a stop to this right now.
November 6, 2023, David Brown is at the Sarasota City Hall in Sarasota, Florida. You might be able to tell from the intro and the thumbnail that he's not dressed how you would normally expect somebody to dress at City Hall. In fact, he's dressed as an infamous clown. He's there to protest the recent actions of Vice Mayor Liz Albert. But apparently there's been some new restrictions neither I nor you folks at home have been told about when it comes to the right to peaceful protest. Also, you may not have known that the City of Sarasota City Hall policy trumps law, where they can decide how you protest and what you wear when you're protesting. His channel link and original video link are in the description. Make sure you head over, tell him Accountability for All sent you, and let's jump in the video.
Here we go. We are at the city commissioner's office, and I am going right up in here with my sign, and I'm going to sit.
How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. See me, Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir, I am. How'd you know that?
I'm Officer Miller.
Hey, nice to meet you, Officer Miller.
All right. Are you coming over, sir? All right, so I need some direction here.
I'm going to go ahead and go on in here.
Okay, but what's that, sir?
I said I'm going to go ahead and go on in here.
Actually, at this point, I'm going to hold you up just for a few minutes. I want to find out what the situation is. Sergeant, I'd really appreciate you to come over here. Sergeant, I'd really appreciate you to come over here. Sergeant, I'd really appreciate you to come over here.
I want you guys to let this sink in and think about this for a second. This clown costume is just too much for this cop. This clown costume is what set this cop over the edge. What did he just say to his supervisor? Sergeant, I'm really going to need you to come down here. If a man dressed in a clown costume is at a public building to peacefully protest, and that is what sets a cop over the edge, imagine what's going to happen and what a liability he's going to be when he has to deal with an actual crime or someone that's doing something illegal. He can't even deal with peaceful protest, which is a constitutionally protected activity under the First Amendment.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, just hang tight for a few minutes, okay?
Oh, may I ask why?
I am relatively new to this situation.
Okay.
Peaceful protest is a form of activism where protesters do not engage in violence. Peaceful protests are a powerful tool for political statements and a constitutionally protected form of expression. So there's nothing in the United States Constitution or the First Amendment dictating what he can wear when he's peacefully protesting. Well, maybe there's some sort of city ordinance about his formal dress wear or his sign. Article 11, Sign Regulations, Sections 124 to 210, Signs in General, under the general provisions says, Purpose and intent. In this article, the board seeks to promote and balance the following substantial public interests. A. To preserve opportunity for expression of individual opinions consistent with constitutional guarantees. So the Constitution and all of the ordinances in Sarasota uphold his ability to peacefully protest, to have his sign regardless of its contents, and to dress how he wants. There are some other strange laws you can get arrested for. We'll talk about that later. But as of right now, no reason for him to not be let in that building.
But obviously, I was told about you.
Okay. Well, I'm glad somebody's told about me because, you know, I about had it. You know, I really had.
I get your frustration. I do. Can we go out here and talk about this for a few minutes?
We can go inside.
No, we can wait here.
Wait a minute. Hold. Sir.
Yes, sir.
That is open to the public, correct?
Okay.
Okay. You could search me. You could do whatever you want, but I want to go inside this building right here, and you're blocking me right now from it.
I have a sergeant coming over.
The sergeant could talk to me inside of here.
We're going to let you in. But in the meantime...
So you're trying to tell me right now, am I detained?
You're being prevented from coming in a public building. You're being prevented from coming in a public building. You're being prevented from coming in a public building.
I'm not sure what time zone you're in, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and it's time for today's winner of the Moron Alert. That's right. So they're not allowing him in because he's there to peacefully protest, and his legal reason for not allowing a peaceful protester into a public building is because it's a public building, so he's not letting him in. They sure do give out quite a few pity hires in Sarasota.
That sound, okay? At this point, I'm going to hold off on letting you in until my sergeant gets here. Fair enough?
That's really not fair. I feel like my rights are being violated right now.
And if my sergeant comes and says you got to let him in, I'll open the door for you.
Remember that for later, folks. He says, if my sergeant tells me that you gotta come in, I'll open the door for you. Well, spoiler alert. The sergeant shows up, tells him that intel informed him that he was allowed to dress that way, allowed to be there, and allowed to protest and enter the building. But the very same cop that you're watching on the screen right now that said if the sergeant gives permission, he would open the door for, is the same cop that will literally tell the sergeant he shouldn't come in, pull the sergeant away to try and talk him into not coming in, and then continue to try and restrict this guy from coming in. A cop lied. No.
In the meantime...
And then you'll give me an apology.
I'll apologize. I will wholeheartedly apologize.
Okay, because...
How you doing, ma'am?
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
One thing I've learned in my life, don't argue with a police officer who's doing his best. Don't argue with a police officer who's doing his best. Don't argue with a police officer who's doing his best.
Famous words to live by. Don't argue with a police officer. He's doing his best. Grandma Karen thinks this is a compliment. It's actually the very opposite. If this cop's best is restricting someone from coming in a public building for no reason, and that's his best, Sarasota's got problems. But it's because of folks like Grandma Karen that the Fraternal Order of Police keeps getting donations. Because as he's violating the right out of this guy's rights, Grandma Karen is giving him a good old attaboy. And while he's violating somebody else's rights, and Grandma is telling him what a great job he's doing, look at the look on his face. Big old smile from this cop. He sure appreciates someone cheerleading his oath breaking. I often have to do this. When dealing with or talking about police, we have to compare them to situations in the real world. Because when you look at a situation in the real world, you'd say, that's the weirdest thing ever. That makes no sense. But when you take that same strange happening and you put it in the world of a cop, then it's accepted as normal. For example, Grandma is present and cheerleading another person violating somebody's civil rights and then complimenting him for committing his crimes. But if a cop wasn't present and Grandma was on the street and she's strolling down Old Timer Avenue and she sees a person with a cross around their neck, and then somebody else comes out of nowhere and starts pummeling the guy with the cross, and Grandma says, oh yeah, good job, he's doing the best he can. You know what Grandma would be in that situation? An accomplice and a defendant. But it's okay, we can excuse the behavior. This guy's got a badge.
Yeah, I understand that, but I also don't want my rights violated. And everybody, there's no reason for me not to be able to go in that door right now. I'm a public. I'm in the public. You can search me, just like I said, officer. You can search me.
I know you do. All right, well, good luck.
She's a very nice lady. I was just talking to her for a half an hour.
She is. She's a real nice lady.
I was out here for 2 hours the other day. Didn't have not one complaint, not one problem.
Okay.
And there were 3 officers that were out there.
Look at it from my standpoint, okay? We are paid to investigate suspicion.
Investigate.
Okay? We are paid to investigate suspicion.
Investigate.
Okay? We are paid to investigate suspicion.
Investigate.
We all knew this cop didn't know the law. But this cop is the dumbest of the dumb. He's literally admitting that he doesn't even know what a police officer's job is. A job summary of a police officer is not that they're paid to investigate suspicion. They're paid to serve and protect the community and enforce law. In fact, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, a police officer's job is protect lives and property. Detectives and criminal investigators gather facts and collect evidence of possible crimes. According to the U.S. government, some of those duties include responding to an emergency and non-emergency call, patrolling assigned areas, observing people and activities, conducting traffic stops and issuing citations, searching restricted access databases for vehicles or other records and warrants, assisting all persons needing police assistance, apprehending persons violating the law or wanted by law enforcement, performing building security checks, conducting criminal investigations by gathering evidence, interviewing victims and witnesses, and interrogating suspects. That's interesting. Even the statistics and data collected by the U.S. government and the very job summary for a police officer, as summarized by the U.S. government, his employer, states exactly what his job title is and exactly what he's paid to do. And none of it, as he so eloquently put it, is investigating suspicious.
Get me. Why do you need your sergeant here to investigate me? You can search me. I'll give it. To go back into that room, I know I need permission. Or not permission. I need to be searched. And I'm ready. I'm willing to be searched.
Here's the one problem with this video. He states multiple times that he's willing to be searched, and they can go ahead and search him. He even gives his name. But this guy is not a First Amendment auditor. He's more of a free speech activist that has an axe to grind with Liz Alpert, the vice mayor who's been out of control and accused of excessive wrongdoing. And all he wants is to get into that building so he can engage in his First Amendment activity and record her so he can try and catch her up in more of her lies. However, for the sake of his First Amendment right, he's willing to give up his Fourth Amendment right. Folks at home, regardless if you're just a regular American who appreciates their rights or you're an Advent activist, don't ever give up any of your constitutional rights, ever. It makes no sense, and I understand that he just wanted to get in there and, have his First Amendment right respected. If you give up one of your amendment rights, you sacrifice all your amendment rights. Don't ever consent to search, and especially if they're not asking to search you, don't present that as a bargaining tool. Don't say, I'll give up my Fourth Amendment if you let me exercise my First Amendment. Don't ever do it. But what this guy's doing is incredible. He's fighting tooth and nail to be in a building that he shouldn't have been restricted from in the first place.
At this point, we have concerns about the safety of a public official.
And there we have it, folks. This is the real reason why they don't want to let him in. His free speech presents a concern for the safety and well-being of a public official. Police officers and public officials, they don't have titles of nobility. They don't have extra rights because of their position. Police officers and public officials don't get special treatment or exemption from the United States Constitution. In fact, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8 states that no title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office or profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept of any present, emulate, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. So what does that mean? This public official has some sort of expectation that she's nobility. She is above the laws of the land and above the Constitution, and concerns for her safety because this guy's wearing a costume means that his First Amendment rights should be terminated.
Until that gets sorted
Concerns
out.
about a public official. No wonder why they got all you cops out here protecting them.
I need him down here. He needs to give me direction. I'll do whatever he tells me to do. But I need him down here. He needs to give me direction. I'll do whatever he tells me to do. But I need him down here. He needs to give me direction. I'll do whatever he tells me to do.
Do you think he's regretting that mouth diarrhea? But I don't think it was mouth diarrhea. I think it was a very clear, concise, and succinct statement. I believe this moron would do whatever his supervisor told him to do. But we appreciate this cop admitting that, because if the supervisor told him to completely violate this man's rights and break every law in existence, at least we know this cop would be happy to do it. Well done, Sarasota Police Department in Sarasota, Florida.
Good. I mean, this really needs to happen like quick because, you know what I mean? Every minute that I'm sitting right here, I'm feeling like my rights are continuing to be violated.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, sir.
Incredible.
All right.
I mean, do you stop anybody else from coming into the city hall?
With all due respect, is anybody else dressed like this? I'll need a sign like this. With all due respect, is anybody else dressed like this? I'll need a sign like this. With all due respect, is anybody else dressed like this? I'll need a sign like this.
And there's the lawsuit. David Brown says, "Why are you letting everybody else in?" And this stupid cop says, "Is anybody else dressed like you or carrying a sign like this?" Excellent job, Sarasota PD. You were literally dumb enough to admit on camera that you're not letting someone into a building solely because of the way they dress, the sign they carry, and their use of free speech. Not helpful to the Sarasota PD, but extremely helpful to David Brown's attorney when they file that lawsuit. Cha-ching!
Is that sign a sword? Is that sign gonna kill somebody? I told you could search me. What else do you need? What else do you need to let me have my First Amendment rights?
Allow me to introduce you to Sergeant Paris.
Okay.
He's going to clear this all up.
Okay, good. And then when I am allowed to go in here, which I already know I am, then I'm going to get an apology from you for detaining me, correct?
I will apologize wholeheartedly.
And making me feel like I'm a criminal.
I apologize for making you feel this way.
I mean, I really do. I'm 55 years old. I'm not on probation. I've never been to prison.
All right.
How doing, sir?
Good.
What's your name and my badge number, sir?
Sergeant Paris, ID 1637.
Nice to meet you.
And what is your name, sir?
My name's David Brown.
Okay. So you want to go in the city commission?
I sure do.
Okay. Now, it is a meeting that is being conducted.
Well,
It's a business meeting.
I will have excellent. I will not. I'll have excellent decor in the room,
Okay,
sir.
so, I mean, you're going to fall in line. You're going to
Be
follow through
searched?
with whatever the citizens are doing.
Absolutely. I want to be a
can't-
citizen today. That's all I'm asking. I don't want my rights violated. That last time I was here, there's 3 cops, and they welcomed me and said that I have every right to be here. And now I'm stopped from going in there. And for what reason? Because I'm suspected of a suspicion? Is that a misdemeanor or a felony? Suspicion. Which one is it?
You're wearing a mask. It's very suspicious.
Here, look. You want to search my mask? You can search my whole body. I'm already aware of this. I'm ready for this. I've been waiting.
So you can't take the sign in there
Why not?
because you're not allowed to.
Well, tell me where it shows I can't take the sign there. Everything nowadays has black and white on the wall signs like this right here. Tell me where it says that I cannot take my sign. If you can show me where it says I can't take my sign, I'll go put it back in my car.
You're going to be disrupting the meeting with the sign.
How is the sign? The sign's not going to be talking. The sign's not going to be saying a word. It's going to be sitting there. And that's my personal right. That's my First Amendment right. That I can have this sign. As long as it's not, there's no swords coming out of it. There's no bombs attached to it. I'm allowed to have that sign. Tell me, sir, I'm willing to meet you halfway, even more than halfway. Show me in black and white where I can't.
Based on past history
Please.
of interactions that maybe
I don't know.
nobody's
So,
going to feel comfortable.
Intel says that apparently.
I couldn't hear that, sir. Could you say that again? Intel says what?
Thanks, David Brown. Excellent question, and thanks for asking. Intel said, apparently he can do this. Which is interesting that we're all still standing here and we're all still watching this. The sergeant spoke to intelligence. Intelligence and his supervisors told him that David is breaking no laws. He's allowed to do this. He's allowed to have his mask and his sign and go in peaceful protest. However, Sarge needs to be dragged away now because the supervisor's opinion didn't matter. Well, to Officer Dumb, the supervisor and sergeant's opinion was very important, as long as the sergeant told him he couldn't go in. But now that the sergeant's not doing what he wants, he's no longer willing to do whatever the sergeant says. Imagine that. Intel. The police have an intelligence department. How can you have a department which is the only department you lack in? Like, the intelligence department. Like, what, is no one sitting at those desks?
Intel says what?
Yeah.
Schaefer, you here? Can you hang out with Officer Schaefer for a minute? Let me talk to him inside.
Why can't you guys talk to me about it? I want to hear. You guys got your body cameras on?
Mr. Brown, their body cameras are on. Okay. Yeah,
I'm upset, man.
I understand you're upset.
Yes.
And I don't know what it's about. And
It's about the vice mayor.
Okay. And here's just their main thing, okay? We have a job to do, and that's all they're doing. They're not trying to violate your rights.
Well, I've been out here for 10 minutes now. 10 minutes now. While everybody else gets to walk through the door, and I'm being treated different.
Well, you have to understand.
Hey,
We just have to come investigate something that somebody calls us on. It's no different than if we're sent to a verbal dispute. We have to determine if it was verbal or physical once we're involved.
I haven't even talked to nobody.
I know.
I was talking with the old
I'm not
lady out
saying
here
it's
for
a
20
verbal
minutes.
dispute.
Had a great conversation with her.
You're dressed in a Pennywise costume, which you can dress however you
It's a
want.
clown.
I understand. But when you come into here dressed like that, you know you're going to attract attention.
That's what I want.
Okay.
That's exactly what I want, sir. You should be a detective.
I'm just explaining to you some very
That's exactly what I want.
of why they're speaking with you. Okay.
So there's no signs allowed in the meeting.
Yeah, I want you to show me where I said that at. If you guys just now went right now, Google it. Show me it on your phone.
We're willing to let you in the meeting.
You don't have a choice. You're willing. Now you're acting like you're giving me my amendment right.
Okay. You will
You're not giving me nothing, sir. I already have that.
Do you want to go in the meeting or not?
Of course I do.
Okay.
I want you to show me where I said I can't have my sign, though.
Well, if you look right here, activities or behaviors which present unreasonable risk of injury or harm to others, including visitors.
Where is it?
Let's take a look at this sign. So this sign is saying you can be asked to leave or not allowed in if your activities or behaviors which present an unreasonable risk of injury or harm to others, including visitors or employees. So this brave cop is saying that dressing in a clown costume presents a risk of injury or harm to others. For the first time in this video, I'll have to agree with these cops, because they dress in clown costumes every day, and we all know how dangerous they are. But for real, I guess in Florida, you're going to have to go to every party city and remove clown costumes from the shelves, because they're extremely dangerous, and at this point, I guess unlawful. I am surprised they didn't point to number 8, which says, use of insulting or fighting words which by their very utterance inflict injury or tend to incite an immediate breach of peace. Because questioning a cop's dumb logic can be extremely inciting. But these cops and this stupid policy is not the only dumb thing coming out of Sarasota City in Florida. What else could I be talking about? Well, how about this? Sarasota likes to enforce and arrest people based off laws that dated before 1935, such as the public morals violation. The Herald Tribune says arrests for public morals violations are rare, but the swearing law is not the only obscure city code that has been enforced recently. Last month, Sarasota police officers arrested 2 men on charges of spitting on a public sidewalk. The city's public morals rules include prohibitions against gambling boats, visiting a house of ill fame, and being in a public place in a state of nudity. If it is a morals violation to go to a house of ill fame, then literally no one should be allowed inside of a police station. Because almost every police station, including Sarasota, is a house of ill fame and even iller repute.
Is there a sword hanging out of the sign? Is there a bomb on there in the back? Is there wires? What do you see?
That some people may find offensive. It also has her name directly.
That's exactly right. That's freedom of speech, sir. That's I can redress my officials.
You're not listening. I'm just
You're right.
explaining to you. You have a sign here that could enrage people to act disorderly.
That's what the old people are. I'm 55 years old, sir.
Read number 9 there.
Yes.
That's it.
What does it say?
I'm not being disruptive. I don't even want to say one word in there. I don't even want to say one word to the lady. You got your body camera on? I don't see it blinking.
Mr. Brown.
You are being disruptive.
That sign in there will interfere with business because it has nothing to do with the city commission meeting because it's an attack on a particular commissioner.
As
That's
far
all
as
it
I'm
is.
concerned, your behavior is disruptive right now.
Right now, I'm only being disruptive because my rights violated and I was not allowed
wouldn't
in,
let you
sir.
All right, so you can go in without the sign or you don't go in at all?
Can I leave the sign outside of the door?
No.
Outside of the door? I can't
Yeah.
go.
It's unattended.
Outside of the room. Not inside the room.
It becomes unattended property.
Because I want to come back out here when I'm done and have my
Here's
sign
the
right
thing,
here.
if you leave a sign there, it'll be thrown away. It's unattended property. You can't have any unattended property in the city.
Oh my goodness. All right. We got 5 cops over here. I'll tell you what, the vice mayor must be scared.
So you can come in, you have to go through the scanners.
Well, yeah, I'll go to the scanner. I'll let you guys tear me apart. You have to search every orifice if you'd like to. Well, okay, well. And I'll tell you what. Next. What for? You guys can search the mask. And then why can't I wear it?
Because it's disruptive behavior. It's right there.
Oh
It's
my
saying
God.
That's what I was explaining to you. Just telling you.
Sarge,
If
prove
you
up
go
to
in,
me.
it's easy.
I would not
I know.
allow him in the building. He's being disruptive right now. He's violating the facility rules just right here, and he's on the facility. So I would, give somebody a call and let's put a stop to this right now.
Give somebody.
That's right. A law-abiding member of the public is trying to engage in his First Amendment right. And that is against our beliefs. Let's get somebody to handle this and get him out of here right now. Folks, how do you feel about Sarasota PD's view of the First Amendment? How do you feel about them trying to forcibly and physically remove someone for engaging in their First Amendment right? Do you think Sarasota PD is right? Do you think right now, at this very moment, as they've already watched 15 minutes of this video, they're trying to figure out how to publicly spin this? There's no way to spin this. We need to file some complaints. And I'm going to go to the Sarasota Police Department's website. I'm going to download a formal complaint. I'm going to issue it. And I'm going to do a FOIA request for the body cam of every single police officer there, including this cop who didn't turn his on. So that's what I'm going to do. Wait! I already did it? Body cam footage on the next video. They have 9 days to comply.
Be a call for what? Me trying to go into the office?
No, you're just, you're being disruptive. It's the bottom line. You know it. I know it.
I was
the
out
rest
here
of the
talking with a
world
lady
knows it.
for 20 minutes. Absolutely fine. I had a great conversation. I was even very nice to this officer when he came up until I was not allowed in the car. I tell you what, I'm gonna go put my sign. I'm gonna go put my sign in the car. Next time when I come here on the next Monday, I want to see that in writing that I cannot have my sign. Okay?
It's right there in writing on the wall.
No, I want to see.
It's right there in writing. Disruptive.
How is it
Unsafe
disruptive?
behavior.
Who says it? Does it
Because
say a
that's
sign is
that is
disruptive?
going to disrupt them from doing their
Does
job.
it say a sign is disruptive?
Well, sir,
No,
there's a
it
certain,
doesn't have to
there is a
specify what it
certain-
is.
Liquor. I know. I've already
That's
Googled
the-
it. Okay, I've already called down here about getting a workshop for what I would like to discuss. Okay, I already know all the rules. Do you think at 55 years old I'm gonna come down here half cocked and get myself in trouble?
You're 55?
I'm 55 years old. Yes, sir.
And you are acting half-cocked. Yes, you are.
Huh, let me tell you something. If you were in my spot, you'd already snapped a long time ago, sir.
Can't even hold on to your folder.
Can't even hold on to your folder.
I'm just saying.
Well, you know, you're a jerk. Okay. Put my sign away. Now, let's see. What else? See, this is how I should have been able to walk right in here in the first place. Don't let me in. Oh, my God. I'll put my sign away. Willing to take off my mask and I'll be searched, and I'm still not being let in.
Yeah. At all times.
Alright.
So you're gonna go in.
Huh?
This is a city commission meeting.
That's right.
If you become disruptive,
Absolutely
your
not.
behavior, your comments,
I'm not going to say a word.
your actions,
I already said I'm not going to say a word.
then you're gonna be kicked out.
That's absolutely fine.
And it's not Halloween, so
Well, it's already in recording.
you can take your mask off if you're going in. Okay? Yep. So go ahead and take it off, and we'll let you in.
All right.
Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
Are you happy?
Yes.
I'm ecstatic.
Good. Well, I'm glad you guys are. So I'll tell you what, I feel like my rights have been violated big time. Look at these people. Look at this. Incredible. Man, absolutely incredible.
Hey, what's your first name?
David, I already told you, officers.
You need to bring it down.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
The minute you get an outburst in there, you're out.
Okay.
Fair enough?
That sounds fair to me, sir. How you doing, sir? You really should have your body camera on, sir. That's why we have them for situations like this. Why don't you have your body camera on? The other officers did. Okay. Bye, Gucci. Thank you.
Make sure you keep it down.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, sir, I'm not going to say one word.
You're supposed to wear that mask in there.
Yeah, I'm not going to wear it. So I'm all good.
Have a good day.
I appreciate you, sir. You have a really
Are
good
you
day.
going to keep quiet?
Have
Because
I-
you're talking right now. And they're
Am I
middle
in the
of meeting.
room? I'm not even in the room yet. I was
As
telling
soon
you
as I
that.
open that door, they can hear you.
Have a good day, sir.
Are you going to be
Yes, sir. Open the door for me. Appreciate you.
Decision to deny the application. Having spent a lot of time over the past 8 months studying the application and the city codes, I'd argue that the decision to deny the application was actually the easy part of the city's job. The more difficult part in my mind was deciding on what basis to make the denial. As I've shared with this group on multiple occasions, as my colleagues have presented today, there are at least another 10 valid reasons to deny this application. Another worrisome aspect of this project is the number of incorrect calculations made by the applicant over the course of the multiple submissions.
Folks, make sure you go over to David Brown. His original video and channel link is in the description of this video. Now, this video is troubling. And I know a lot of you folks at home are in the same position where I am. And the biggest part of this that you're going to take away is the fact that he's haggling and bargaining his rights, right? Like he's willing to barter his Fourth Amendment right in exchange for his First Amendment right. And a big reason why I do a lot of these videos is because folks need to be educated and they need to understand all aspects of your rights, right? So if you're willing, like the police officer's job is to uphold all of your constitutional rights, especially your First and your Fourth Amendment right. So you don't barter with him like, hey, listen, I'll give up my Fourth Amendment right so that way you'll respect and protect my First Amendment right. You never do that, because then you give them the power to think that they have the ability to bargain with your rights and to decide which of your rights is more or less important than the others. However, David's work is incredible, and it's very important, right? You know, you can be like me, where you go up and you go in a public building with your favorite sports team, your gold chains, or your Nike shirt. Or you can be like Tuapri, who will go into a public building dressed in any number of costumes. But the reason myself and Tuapri, for the most part, can go into these buildings and will not get our rights violated is because we're educated in the size of our channel. And that's a big problem. These police officers think that if someone's got a big channel, they could get in trouble because that video could go viral. So maybe we should treat the bigger channels and the more well-known folks with some more respect. But as much as that upsets us, we can wait for someone with no subscribers to walk through the door and we can violate their rights. And it used to be that cops were really just afraid of the big channels. But now we're starting to see that they have a healthy fear of just anyone walking in the door, even if they don't have a subscribership or audience, because folks like myself, my friend Lackluster, James Freeman, someone with no audience can send their interaction to someone with an audience, and even the Joe Schmo, as the police will look at that person, can make sure their voice is heard and accountability will happen. And accountability will happen. Like I said, I put in complaint forms and request for body cams for all of these police officers. And for the one police officer that didn't turn on his body cam, I asked for the specific policy and procedure from Sarasota PD about body cams, when they should be on, when they should be off. So that way, when I get in paper that and we all know he had to have his body cam on, but when I have in paper, per their policy, because they love their policy, when I have it in front of me and I can look at it and say, I can call back and say, hey, listen, so even per your policy, he was supposed to have his body camera running, but his body camera wasn't running. And for what reason? Because he wanted to violate somebody's rights. So he had the ability to shut off and turn off or not turn on his body camera when he wanted to keep it off, so that way there would be no video of him violating somebody's rights. That's why, as great as body camera is, the police officers wearing them should never have control over when they're rolling, when they're not rolling, when sound is on, when sound is off. From the moment they clock in till the moment they leave, beside bathroom breaks, those cameras should be rolling. So tyrants like that don't exist. Head over to David Brown, tell him Accountability for All sent you. We the people thank you for watching, and we still live in the land of the free because of the brave, and that's the reason I stopped you today.